I'm pleased to be joined by Joe Solecki, who will be fighting on June the 20th against Austin Hubbard. Joe, how are you?
Man, I'm awesome. Just finished up training and ready to go. We got the last little week here, and then we're off to Vegas.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to seeing you step back into the cage on the 20th. First and foremost, I got to talk about the important thing here and get this out of the way. You have a new addition coming to the family, I believe, in September. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. This is perfect timing with everything, and just all along I've had this stress about like, am I going to be gone fighting on fight week when this baby's here? Because the pandemic came. I was supposed to fight in May or June. Then the pandemic came. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to be back on the line September. I'm going to miss it, and this couldn't be more perfect. So yeah, we're so pumped, and I get to fight. Go out there, have a great performance, and just put it all on the line, and then a couple months later, meet my baby girl. I'm so pumped. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
That must be quite a relief for your wife as well, knowing that you
Yeah.
will be around.
Yes, absolutely. Now, our only concern is every year on that week, we've had to leave for a hurricane. So we may be in a different city, but at least we'll be together. It would have been bad if it was both. So, yeah, we can't wait. We're both relieved. And I'm just pumped, man. That's two titles I really wanted, Dad, and now I want to be a world champ. So I've got one, and now I can just focus on the other one.
Fantastic. Have you guys thought of a name yet, or is that something you're going to wait till get a little bit closer?
Yeah, we've got one. We're holding off on it a little bit. A couple people know, but not too much. But it may change. But we've been saying it a lot, so we think it'll stick. But yeah, we had no boy name, so we're kind of lucky. We found out we had a girl, so that was our girl name. We're sticking to it. We think.
Well, fantastic. Congratulations again. I'm sure nothing but good things are going to happen here leading up to this for you. Tell me, what has life been like during the pandemic? I know it's been a little bit different for everyone. How has it affected you?
It was really honestly. I was talking to one of my coaches today, Jeff Jimbo, because he's up stuck in Charlotte, and we're not really training there this camp. We've been like coordinating a lot on FaceTime, and I was like, honestly, it was great for me because I'm always on the go. When I'm in camp, I live in Wilmington. We may have talked about this before, but I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. I train there at Salty Dog Jiu-Jitsu, and then our MMA gym is Gym O up in Gastonia. That's 4 hours away, and then I box and get some sparring in at my old gym where I came from, Fitness Edge MMA in Myrtle Beach, which is 90 minutes from my house. So I'm constantly on this wheel, just revolving and revolving. And being stuck at home was kind of nice because we were still able to get all the training in, everything we needed. After a couple weeks, I was able to get back with my boxing coach by the first week of April. So I've had like a 10, 12-week camp of just being able to come home, sleep in my bed every night, go where I need to go, and then come back home. And it's been really, really nice. It's kept me from ever getting that physical burnout of being on the road all the time. I've been able to be with my wife and, while she's pregnant and stuff, and my dogs. So it's actually been pretty great. It's the most dialed in I've been. I've had more time to like actually go home and watch stuff that I want to get focused off of, read things, just kind of really staying in my own little world, which I don't get to do a ton because I'm always on the go. So, you know, still not a positive thing that's been going on in the world, but I've been able to spin it a little bit and actually really, really narrow in the focus.
Now, I know for me, I'm a huge team sports fan as well. I love football, basketball, baseball, you name it. So I've been struggling a little bit during this pandemic, not getting to watch live sports. Thank God for the UFC. Are you one of those guys that gets into team sports as well? Are you missing that, or are you just more focused on your family, and your career right now?
Yeah, mostly the second one. So I grew up a huge sports fan, right outside Philadelphia. So Sixers, Eagles, Phillies, and Flyers were like everybody's a diehard fan up there. And I grew up playing every single like Madden game and knew all the stats. Like I was super into it. And then I got to high school and just started focusing on jiu-jitsu and just kind of forgot to keep up. And then we moved to the Carolinas, and it's big in like college football, college sports down here. And I really just was never into that. So now I don't have cable, so we just stream stuff. So I'm like, I don't really get to watch a ton, but my coach John Salter is like a huge Alabama football fan, like just insane with it. His family's like that. We have a couple other people in the gym like that, some rivalries. So I might watch with them just because I like to watch them all lose their minds. But I don't follow along too much anymore. But I know a lot of people are really going crazy without it right now.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna have it, even we don't even know.
That is true. Hopefully we do. Tell me, any Netflix suggestions or any movies, anything that you can tell anyone watching that you really enjoyed and maybe they would like as
Yeah,
well?
I think like the obvious ones are out there. Uncut Gems was phenomenal. I know it was out earlier in theaters, but they just put it on Netflix, so that was really good. One that might have slid under the radar that I really liked was The Outsider on HBO. It's a
Okay.
Stephen King, like a series. I think it's based on one of his books. And basically, it's like the first 5 minutes is like a dead to rights case of like basically a murder in town. Video evidence, people see him, witnesses. You're like, oh, this is stupid. Like, how are they going to get this guy off? And it just, the next 8 episodes are just insane after that. You're like, I did not see any of this. So that's on HBO. That was really good. And gosh, we watched the Epstein documentary recently, and it was good, but it was messed up. Especially about to have a daughter. I was like, oh, well, I'll never let my daughter leave the house. But still really fascinating. We like investigative stuff like that, like the serial killer stuff. So it was still pretty cool, but a little weird.
Tell me, you mentioned John Salty, your coach and Bellator MMA star. How is he doing during this pandemic? How much are you getting to see him?
Every single day, yeah. So we're really lucky that this is home base for us, because then I get to go in there every day. And, I still have a phenomenal coach. If I can't get to, our head coach, Jeff Jim, or if I can't get down to my boxing coach when I couldn't in March, I still have a phenomenal coach. But the benefit to that is he's still a phenomenal fighter. He's still an active fighter. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. I get to get beat up by him, get taught by him. And he really, really did a great job for me of like making sure, even when we were starting to bring back some members into the gym and stuff, is making sure we were keeping it like wrestling based or MMA based or stuff that I was going to be able to use, which selfishly I was really appreciative of, because I definitely haven't been the most fun to be around during this quarantine in the training room, because we had small groups and we had a lot of our regular members coming in and out just to be able to participate. And, I was kind of in my own little world of worried, am I going to get to fight, worried about my daughter coming, worried about all this stuff, and kind of just in this standoffish, staying quiet, focused, almost mean bubble. And he just did a great job teaching, making sure that I have what I needed, and kind of understanding. So it's been awesome being here, having him, and then all of our teammates, man. It's just it's been the perfect storm for me. Everybody coming together and really helping out.
That's great. Has John mentioned when Bellator might be putting on an event? Because I know he was supposed to have a fight at some point here soon. He's got to be itching to get back in the cage as well.
Oh yeah, and I know he's ready to go short notice too, because he's been training all along. I think they said July they were itching to get fixing to get started back, but I don't think anything's been said since. So hopefully July, because that would be awesome. And even when we go out to Vegas this coming week, he'll be able to train there. So hopefully we see him in there sooner rather than later, because I mean, this is 2 years in a row where circumstances that weren't his fault are keeping him from fighting, more than once in the year. And I know he's ready to go. The guy never stops training. It's crazy. So I know he'll be ready to jump on something short notice. And maybe with maybe athletes not being able to come in from out of the country and stuff, maybe the title shot, maybe him and Lima for the title shot, because Lima's in Georgia, we're in North Carolina, we're all stateside. So that would be the perfect world. We see him fight Lima for the 185 title.
Wow, sign me up. I
Yeah.
love that one. That would be a great move for Bellator if that does come to fruition. One of the things I wanted to ask you, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you're big on the mental side of the game and visualization. I saw an interview with you previously, and you said something to the effect of writing your own movie and being like kind of what Joe Rogan says, being like the hero of your own movie. Is that something that you kind of pride yourself in, about being mentally strong as you're evolving in your career?
Yeah, yes and no. Like I'm very analytical in all kinds of all the training. Like I like to I almost overanalyze everything. It's just how I kind of live. I'm kind of but I'm not like on the Conor McGregor train of like, oh, I get up and I close my eyes and I see myself. I'm like the exact opposite. I'm like negative Ned over here, worrying about this can go wrong and that can go wrong, acknowledging those and then doing the action just to prevent it. I very much am not like this positive, see the ball, be the ball. I see myself getting my hand raised. That's not really realistic for what we're going to do. And we even see it, even with McGregor's so good, so maybe he's a bad example, but we see it when the second things stop going his way. It's almost like he really struggles to not check out, right? Because he's seen it one way in his head. That's the way it can go. And I think it works for every other sport, but I think for us, it's asinine because we have so many variables. You could be cut, bleeding, not being able to see out of your eye in the first 2 minutes. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. So I pride myself on shutting that crazy voice up in my head and just doing the work. I know when I go out there, instinct's going to take over. So I just got to be tough. I got to be focused. And I have to come to terms with what can happen, which is literally almost anything in there. So that's the kind of mental side I'm into on it, which is do the work, do everything I possibly can, leave the rest up. Like I was just talking to one of my coaches earlier, like I've done everything I possibly can the last 12 weeks. I knew I was going to be fighting roughly around this time, or hop into a camp without knowing for sure, and did everything I possibly could. The rest is literally out of my control. You know, I can make good decisions in there, but I always say, I'm like, dude, it's God's plan. Who am I to mess with that? So I'm ready to go. But that's kind of the mental side I'm into. Like, I like the training mental side of things, not fight night, because that's too hard to. But like, if you watch like The Last Dance, like that was on recently, like super into stuff like that. And same thing. I think they just dealt with what was in front of them. They were just tougher than everybody else because they're kind of always here. You know, they win, they lose, they're just staying here. Or at least the guys in the team that were really, really good. So I just try and be like that. I kept posting all pandemic is like, my old coach, John Hassett, has a shirt and a saying where he'd always go, shut up, nobody cares, train harder. Or whatever it is. You know, if it was, you're in school, he'd be like, shut up, nobody cares, study harder. You know, and it really is just that for me. Is like, you know, I'm going to go out next weekend. I very much am going out there for a win. God forbid something bad happens, I'm going to shut up. Nobody really cares. You know, maybe my wife does, maybe my coach does. And then work harder. Or and if I win, that's my plan, shut up, nobody cares, work harder. You know, and that's what I try and do that with every single thing that I do. That's my mental game these days.
Yeah, well, it's worked out well for you so far. Clearly have a bright future. It's been a minute since I've talked to you here, right after you actually won on Contender Series and got into the UFC. Since then, you went on and had a big win over Mr. Matt Weinman. That was a unanimous decision victory. Are you disappointed that you didn't get the finish? It seemed like you had a pretty dominant first round, like maybe you could have gotten him out of there. Did you feel like you were going to?
Yeah, I was ready to. I tried to. I put my foot on the gas for sure. But we kind of expected him to be very, very tough, you know. And that's kind of another thing that I really had to learn along the way. It was like, you know, I was finishing all my opponents, my first 5 AMI fights, first 3 pro fights, first round. Is if I go in there and expect to finish, kind of like we talked about the visualization thing, and it doesn't happen, I can't all of a sudden be like, oh my God, like, you know, that's ridiculous. So I got to know who's in front of me. And I knew Wyman is tough to put away. I mean, Pena did it, but barely. And that's a durable dude. So wasn't disappointed I couldn't have finished him. Would have liked to, you know, but thought maybe for a second I would. But as soon as it didn't happen, just went right back to in my head. We knew this. We knew this is a tough guy. This was who was in front of me. He doesn't give. He's been finished like twice his entire UFC career. So I was happy with it. I got to log 3 rounds in the UFC cage, which that's a very, very big deal for me because I didn't have 15 minutes my whole first 5 fights of my career, you know. So 15 minutes in the UFC cage with a big crowd. It was good for me, I think, in the long term.
Yeah. Was he talking a little trash to you there in the 3rd round? And did you feel like that was maybe out of desperation?
Yeah, so he was talking to me the entire time, honestly, since the first round. And same thing. If this was 2 years ago, maybe I would have thought of that, gotten nervous, whatever, upset, got my heart rate up, tried to hit him harder. I kind of just tuned it out, so nobody could really tell. Even like when we got to the back room, my coach was like, "Did he talk to you that last minute?" I was like, "No, he talked to me for 15 minutes." Like I was hitting him in the first round, and he was just going like, Joe. Then he'd cover up. And then same thing, oh, it's going to take more than that. Then he'd poke his head out, talk, cover it up. And that's when the ref, if you watch the broadcast back, I watched it like a couple times, he went over to his corner and was like, stop talking during the fight. And the commentators couldn't even tell what was going on. And then the last little bit is when I finally talked back, and he's like, what are you going to do? Because there's 20 seconds left. He said, you can't finish me. I said, put you out of a job just because he had a couple losses. And then that's when he like didn't hide it anymore, just lost his mind. Since then, he was cool the next day. It's all good. Wish we could have shaken hands and had it in the cage. You know, it would have looked better for the sport and for both of us as men. But he was cool in the hotel, and it's all good.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, a win like that in the UFC, a 3-round decision victory over a tough guy, it's got to do wonders for your confidence. I mean, I know you already are a confident guy with where you're at now, but did that win and logging that 15 minutes really just make you feel like, hey, okay, I'm here. I know I deserve to belong in the UFC now, and now I'm going to really start to get after it and climb the lightweight ranks?
Yeah, absolutely, to an extent, for sure. You know, I know that that's not the same Matt Weinman, and this isn't to discredit him. This is discrediting myself. I know that he's not maybe in the prime of his career, but he's still a tough dude, a durable dude, and very dangerous. So to go in there, you know, arguably in front of a hometown crowd for me, I had like 200 people there, screaming and yelling, and to deal with all that, first UFC fight on big ESPN, like I'm very proud of that. It makes me feel good. But I think I'm always going to feel like I need to earn my keep here. Like even going into this fight, I'm like, man, like, do I belong? I got to make sure I belong. It's like, well, I think I did that last fight. It's never going to be enough for me. There's always going to be somebody better. Right now, I think I'm like 95th. There's 94 people above me. So it's going to be hard to feel like I belong ever because the lightweight division is so stacked. But it definitely showed me that I can do the things I think I can do or I always thought I could do. So it answered a lot of questions for me. And it just so happened that it was against somebody that I've been able to watch since I was like 12. So it was kind of a full circle moment for sure.
Sure. Now, Austin Hubbard, how do you match up stylistically? What kind of a fight are we going to see come June 20th?
I think I match up very, very well. My coaches seem to think so. I think so. I know he's a very tough dude. It's similar to the Wyman fight. I know who's coming out in front of me. This fight is obviously everybody's tough, so that word gets thrown around too much, but durable and gritty, and that's what this guy's going to bring. So we know that. I know he comes from a great team out in elevation. They're on a huge tear. So I know that. I know this is a well-rounded opponent. I know this is, if I make a mistake, he's going to find it. If I stop fighting for a second and try to, pull my foot off the gas, he's going to feel that too. So we know he's very, very game. He can be dangerous. And he just fought really tough dudes. So to look at him being 1-2 in his 3 fights in the UFC, I can't do that. That's a disservice. He fought an Olympian and a world champion in jiu-jitsu, So that tells me if I want to put him away, I have to play up. I have to wrestle like an Olympian. I have to do jiu-jitsu like a world champion. That's out of my league. So I've got to really play up here and be a complete hammer in this fight and fight like those guys that are, considered world-class and show that I'm world-class.
Yeah, all 3 of those fights, too, went the distance, unanimous decision, whether it was a victory or a loss for him. So plenty of tape to watch and dissect getting ready for this fight. Where do you feel you hold the biggest advantage going in against Hubbard?
Oh, I think everybody that, for a long time until I fight somebody like a Davi Ramos maybe or somebody like that, everybody was going to stay on the ground in the jiu-jitsu. But I think just my ability to think, I really, really do think is my ability to find a way, If I'm outmatched in an area, I really think I always find a way to work around it. I think that's the same thing here. I kind of got to show it in the Contender Series with my stand-up a little bit. With Wyman, I think I almost fought like a more experienced guy in some senses, kind of pulling off when he wanted me to come forward and stuff like that. So I think it's the same thing here. It's just good decision-making. I think that's really where I'm going to have the edge is being disciplined, being focused, and having that decision-making of when to go, when not to, and when to pull the trigger.
Prediction time. How do you see yourself getting your hand raised? You think you're going to finish him, or do you think this might go to a decision?
I'm always planning for a hard-fought decision. I try to be exciting. If the finish is there, I'm absolutely going to take it, going to look for it. But, again, I know who's in front of me. I know how durable he is, so I'm planning to put my foot on the gas for 3 hard rounds.
Awesome. Well, I cannot wait for this fight. Again, it's going to be on ESPN Plus. So anyone watching, make sure you get your subscription now. June 20th, Joe Solecki will fight Austin Hubbard. I appreciate the time. Congratulations again for the addition to the family coming in September. And if there's any social media you want to plug or anyone you want to thank, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, man. Thanks for having me on. I really, really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well through all this. Yeah, just want to thank my family, man. My wife, she's really been phenomenal through this whole process, especially helped me out to, really make sure I have everything I need in camp while she's carrying our baby. So, and going to work. She's the best. My team, everybody up at Gym O, we haven't been able to get there this camp like that, but that coordination and telling us what to do, and all that has been really, really helpful. John Salter, Salter Dog Jiu-Jitsu, everybody there has stepped up so much, man. All the guys in the gym, from our blue belts, our purple belts, we have our black belts coming in. I've had guys come from Myrtle Beach to help us spar. My buddy Zach DeLeon, he's going to be in my corner this time, a main sparring partner for this camp. One of our best kept secrets. This guy came in the gym like 3 years ago, and I think he beats 99% of the pros I know. If he wanted to fight, he doesn't fight. He does all the training with us, but he's in law school. So having him has been huge because he's like a chameleon. He can emulate a lot of the guys that we fought. I've used him for every single camp that I've had since I moved to Wilmington. He's been awesome. Just the whole team there, everybody at Fitness Edge MMA, Cody Jones, Jordan Weeks, all those guys have been coming up to spar. Really appreciate them. My boxing coach has been phenomenal as always. Coming out in the pandemic, meeting me in my mother-in-law's garage so we can hit pads. Just anything we need. He's going to get on the flight to Vegas, risk everything. And I just appreciate it all, man. Everybody that's hung by me all this time, and I really just want to make them proud. That's it.